The Whale, which is now available to buy on digital platforms like Amazon Prime Video, is a 2-hour-long movie that chronicles the final week of a 600-pound man who has cut himself off from the outside world and is now in danger of dying due to health problems brought on by his weight. Darren Aronofsky, who also directed the unsettling divisive films Black Swan and Mother, is in charge of the direction. The Whale is based on Samuel D. Hunter's 2012 drama of the same name. Hunter, who also worked on the script adaptation for the movie, based the narrative on his own struggles with obesity while a student. In an interview for the press materials for the movies, Hunter said, "I know many individuals who are big, happy, and healthy, but I wasn't. I attended a fundamentalist Christian school where my sexuality manifested itself in an unpleasant manner, leaving me with a lot of unprocessed emotions, which manifested themselves in a bad relationship with food. I feel like everything just poured out of me when I began writing The Whale." The Whale includes a lot of difficult-to-watch scenes of Brendan Fraser binging on junk food, perspiring heavily while wearing makeup, and stumbling around in a squishy, rolling fat costume. An emotional but ambiguous ending awaits you if you manage to make it to the end of the movie. Don't be concerned, we are here to assist. Continue watching for a breakdown of The Whale's ending and an explanation of what occurs, as well as whether Charlie dies. Major spoilers ahead if you have not watched the movie yet. As Charlie, Brendan Fraser, delivers a virtual lesson for an online college English course, the audience is introduced to him. Informing his pupils that his webcam is broken, he keeps it off. He is actually embarrassed by his look as a 600-pound obese man. Charlie is unable to move independently and lives alone. Numerous recurring figures pay him visits throughout the course of the movie. Charlie is taken care of by Liz, a nurse acquaintance. Charlie is told by Liz that his blood pressure is at a risky level and that he needs to go to the hospital immediately because failing to do so will probably result in his passing from chronic heart failure by the end of the week. Charlie says he won't go because he can't pay the hospital expenses and doesn't have any money. Instead, he makes the decision to try to reunite with his daughter during his final week of life. Thomas, a door-to-door missionary from the evangelical congregation New Life, is another of Charlie's guests. Charlie is hyperventilating and on the verge of having a heart attack when Thomas enters the room. Thomas is given an article by Charlie about Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and he is told to read it. Thomas queries Charlie's request for him to read it after he has calmed down. Charlie explains, "I wanted to hear it one last time because I believed I was going to die." It's a really excellent article. Ellie, Sadie Sink, Charlie's teenage daughter, also pays him a visit. He hasn't seen her since she was 8 years old. When Ellie was 8 years old, Charlie, a gay man, abandoned her and her mother because he had fallen in love with one of his adult students. Charlie explains to Ellie that although her mother prohibited it, he still wanted to be a part of her life. Ellie, a furious adolescent, treats her father with extreme cruelty. Charlie offers to assist Ellie with her forthcoming essay when he learns that she might fail out of high school. Additionally, he promises to pay her for her time with him with all of his assets, which total more than $100,000. Thomas the preacher visits Charlie's house again because he thinks God sent him there at just the right time to assist Charlie. Thomas' presence annoys Liz, who requests that he leave Charlie alone. We discover that Charlie's romantic partner and a faithful follower of the New Life Church was Liz's sibling Alan. Because Alan was informed that his sexuality was against God's will, Liz holds New Life responsible for her brother's extreme unhappiness, which ultimately led to Alan jumping off a bridge and killing himself. In reaction, Charlie started binge eating as a result of his grief. Charlie's health is deteriorating quickly. To assist Charlie in getting around his home, Liz brings him a wheelchair. Charlie receives a visit from Ellie, who begs him to complete her essay project. Charlie concurs. Charlie claims Ellie is an amazing individual despite how unkind she is to him. While Charlie is unconscious after Ellie gives him sleeping pills, Thomas the missionary makes another visit. Ellie threatens to kill her father if Thomas doesn't smoke marijuana with her. She takes a picture of Thomas that shows him to be in the wrong, and she confronts him afterward because she is aware that New Life no longer employs door-to-door missionaries. Thomas admits that he used to be a missionary, but quit because he didn't feel like he was really doing anything to assist people after his parents kicked him out of the house for smoking marijuana and sent him away to the church. Thomas stole the entire church's petty cash after a heated fight with the pastor. He admits to Ellie that he is running low on cash but is scared to return home. Ellie records his confession in private. Ellie has poisoned her father, which Liz and Ellie's mother, Mary, Samantha Morton, find out when they arrive. Liz discovers that Charlie actually has money despite his protests about hospital expenses after bringing Charlie back to consciousness. Simply put, he has been saving it all to present to Ellie. Liz storms out in rage because Charlie has refused to purchase the supplies and medical treatment he requires. Along with her dad, Ellie storms out, ordering him to just die already. Before she leaves, Charlie hands Ellie the essay she requested. Mary and Charlie discuss their marital and personal lives. Charlie recalls traveling to the beach and swimming in the water with Ellie and Mary. Mary explains to Charlie that one of the reasons she kept Charlie away from Ellie was out of concern that Ellie might harm him. Mary calls Ellie evil and demonstrates to Charlie a mocking photo of himself that Ellie shared on social media. Charlie keeps repeating how wonderful a writer Ellie is and how amazing she is. Mary sobs as she walks away, and Charlie, who is also sobbing, tells her that he must believe Ellie is the one decent deed he has done in his life. Charlie goes on a binge-eating spree after Mary departs, which results in him throwing up. He hastily posts a prompt encouraging his pupils to write something sincere on the online discussion board. Thomas pays Charlie one final call and demonstrates a Bible verse that Alan's old Bible had highlighted. Thomas thinks Alan committed suicide because he abandoned God and succumbed to the body, which is homosexuality. For once, Charlie speaks up for himself and essentially orders Thomas to leave. Thomas tells Charlie that Ellie sent his taped confession to his parents in church, and that they both accepted it, allowing him to return home at last. Charlie confesses that he has been fired during his last webinar lesson. He reads some of the responses that his pupils gave to his call for honesty. He is moved by their candor and promises to do the same in return. He then activates his web camera and displays his entire body to them. Students' reactions are ones of astonishment and disgust. Liz comes back to Charlie to care for him on the last day of his life. She hates him, but she still adores him. Because people are wonderful, Charlie tells Liz that he thinks Ellie let Thomas down because she wanted to help him. Ellie bursts inside the home, enraged at Charlie for her essay failure. She asks Liz what's wrong when she notices the condition Charlie is in. Liz responds, "He's dying." Charlie says no in response to Ellie's request to contact an ambulance. Although Liz doesn't want to lead Charlie, she complies when Ellie requests a private conversation with him. As she informs Charlie she will wait downstairs, Liz appears to be saying her goodbyes to him. Charlie is accused of intentionally failing Ellie's assignment, and Ellie wants to know why. Charlie admits to Ellie that she wrote the thesis as he starts to hyperventilate. Ellie composed an essay on Moby Dick in the 8th grade. Charlie received the essay from Ellie's mother, and he considers it to be the finest essay he has ever read. Charlie cries out in regret over abandoning Ellie. Ellie turns to flee as he starts having a heart attack. She agrees when Charlie asks her to read him her essay. Charlie stands to his maximum height by himself as Ellie reads from Moby Dick about the whale. Get it? The whale is him. Charlie makes a strong attempt to move towards Ellie. Charlie imagines himself stepping into the ocean, all those years ago, when he wasn't so obese, when Ellie reads his favorite line from the essay. And I felt saddest of all when I read the boring chapters that were just descriptions of whales, because I knew the author was trying to save us from his own sad story, just for a little while. Ellie advances on Charlie. The next line of the essay, "This book made me think about my own existence, and that it made me grateful for mine." She starts to read before stopping abruptly. Ellie and Charlie exchange grins. Charlie then glides off the ground and into a brilliant white light with a gasp. The movie stops there. The whale's ending may be open to interpretation, but in my opinion, Charlie's feet leaving the ground is a clear metaphor for his body leaving this world, that he has died from heart failure. Charlie only has about a week to live, and the film is careful to identify each day of the week. This has been made abundantly clear throughout the entire film. Charlie is about to pass away. Liz said at the outset of the ending scene. This differs slightly from how The Whale, the stage adaptation, concludes with a hard cut to black. According to an interview with editor Andrew Weisblum for the movie's press materials, it was the director's intention for this scene to signify the end of Charlie's existence and to mirror their first encounter with Ellie. It was crucial to build up these two mirror images of each other, where Charlie fails in one and succeeds in the other, structurally. The two sequences share a lot of similarities in their cutting styles and shot selections. However, the strength of that closing scene is that it makes Charlie's impending demise clear. What about Ellie's unheard concluding sentence in her essay, though? What is she happy about? Sadly, we will never understand. The movie never reads the entire essay in its entirety and always ends before that last sentence. Although Ellie never tells us what she was thankful for in her own life, it is obvious that Charlie was most affected by this section of the essay. Did she mention how happy she was to have relatives, possibly? Or is she relieved her father departed when he did in order to spare her his tragic tale? Or perhaps she reads novels because she needs to take a brief break from her own depressing story?